Hello. Well, I'm back from the protest in London, and I have to say it wasn't quite what I expected. Welcome to Grey Matters. Hello, and welcome to Grey Matters, the channel that promotes the fact that the older generation still matters and has relevance, and which looks at issues that matter to the older generation. So, yes, I'm back from the demonstration, and my apologies to everyone that was expecting a live stream. Unfortunately, a cable that I needed turned out to be damaged today when I tried to use it, so I had to use a different camera which needed different fittings, and it meant I couldn't go live. But I have recorded some of the highlights and the interviews and the chats that we had while we were there. Now, why wasn't it what I expected? I guess I had anticipated there being a lot more older people there protesting against the various welfare cuts. And I knew there'd be some organisations, but there were lots and lots of organisations.
Among the organisations here, we have one very big organisation chanting, you probably hear them in the background, who are calling for revolution, Free Palestine, and all the fringe groups are here, not just those who are here for the purpose of trying to stop the cuts and restore welfare.
Many of them fairly militant. We had the Communist Workers' Party, we had the Socialist Revolutionary Party, there's a lot of Free Palestine representatives, as well as sort of the ban the bomb type people, which I can kind of understand, because one of the big thrusts of the demonstration was that we should be spending money on welfare and not on arms, so that kind of fitted. But the most vocal were the ones demanding revolution, which this channel tries to steer clear of. However, there were some ordinary people there, and I did manage to speak to quite a lot of them. Not everyone wanted to actually be on camera. But let's just take a look at how things started off, shall we?
I'll probably pick the windiest spot here to say hello to you all. So Grey Matters here for the channel. We're at the People's Assembly March, which is going from Portland Place down to Whitehall, protesting against the cuts to welfare, wanting the return of the winter fuel payment for the elderly, and there's a lot more issues too. We'll try and speak to a few people while we're here and find out why they're on the march. And as you can see, it's building up quite quickly here. We anticipate leaving very soon. Unfortunately, we're not live as we planned, but apologies for that. But we should be able to give you some pretty good highlights of what goes on today. So stay with us.
Why it's more important to spend money on health services. So I think
Yes, building up nicely. Before we go back to that, there's a couple of comments I just wanted to mention. Eve Wignall sent me a comment on the channel that said, although I've had to pay unexpected pension top up, it's not backdated to when you started the pension, only from when it was paid, which I think is, I would think most people would understand that. She said she started paying in this top up 4 months ago, but still has had no full pension. She said, I wonder if anyone on the rally is in the same boat. I didn't find anyone, and it wasn't easy to get onto that subject actually, but the couple of people I did speak to weren't having that sort of issue. My suggestion to you, Eve, would be to get onto the pension service and shake them up and ask them, where is it? How long does it take to actually come through? And to be sure that it will be backdated to when you started paying the top up. That's all I can really suggest. And then WG4813, he said that I'm an OAP. I also feel I'm a realist, and this country must pay its way. Having worked solidly for 41.5 years, I feel I've paid my dues. All the years I've worked, the government has spent more than it's earned. That's very true. Now we have a march to demand more money is spent on us, and I may not agree with the present government's actions, but beyond restoring the status quo and some obvious reforms, pensioners should not be protesting for greater spending. Some will have to live modestly, that's inevitable, but for some they should not be living in abject poverty. I don't entirely agree with what you say there, WGJ, because the march was not about asking more money to be spent on us. As you say, restoring the status quo, and that's exactly what it was about. It was a case of restoring the winter fuel payment, and there is cautious optimism on that front because Rachel Reeves apparently is going to do something about it, and we assume she's going to raise the pension credit threshold. Now, there was over 2 million pensioners caught in that little trap where they desperately needed the money, missed out on pension credits by a few pence or pounds, and were left in the cold, literally. And hopefully they will be caught up in the net when the changes are made, but it would be good to see it extended a bit further. So no one's asking for more money to be spent on pensioners in that respect. And one of the other main thrusts of the protest was not to cut £5 billion worth of welfare funding. Again, not asking for more money to be spent, ask them just not to take that away, because there are people desperately in need of that. People with mental and physical disabilities that have suddenly had all the support taken away from them, and they can't do that. And the general call in that protest was for arms not to be spent, money not to be spent on arms, but to be spent on welfare. A lot of concern from the NHS. You'll see that there are a lot of NHS trusts being represented, and some individual groups. The Croydon Disability Against the Cuts group, for example. Ordinary groups of ordinary people coming together to try and make their voices heard. Let's just go back to the video and see what else had been going on.
I've just been accosted by two of the channel's subscribers, Jess and David. Good to see you. So you saw the thing on the channel about it then?
We saw your call to arms.
Yeah, it's all your fault.
Yes, it seems to be quite a big turnout, doesn't it?
I was a bit alarmed by the lack of obvious pensioner participation, though.
Tell us why you're here, apart from the call to arms.
Well, I think we've just been so angry about the whole attitude of the Labour government since it took power. Right from the start, the cutting the winter fuel allowance, and then Jess is one of the so-called WASPy women.
Are you?
And
So not only have I had 6 years worth of my pension stolen, when I get to an age where I can have the fuel allowance, they've snatched that away as well. So that's mainly why we...
Shocking, isn't it?
plus the fact that Starmer didn't comply with the Ombudsman recommendation to give any compensation to the WASPy women whatsoever.
No.
So I've voted Labour all of my adult life, but I shall never vote Labour again. Keir Starmer can do as many U-turns as he like, but his original betrayal won't be forgiven or forgotten as far as we're concerned.
Did that affect you? Did that impact on you, not having the payment?
It has affected us.
Yeah.
And so many people, we can't keep the as warm enough as we'd like to in the winter. You know, it's just having to put extra layers on.
Yes.
So many people are in the same position.
And you get to the stage where you go to put the fire on and you think, do I do that or put a blanket on? You know, do I heat the room or just me? You know,
but we shouldn't be like this in this day and age.
I mean, we're a quarter of the way through the 21st century, for God's sake. And it's unbelievable that the country's in this sort of state, let alone as pensioners.
Enjoy the march.
Yeah,
but it had to be done.
We wouldn't have known about it if we hadn't have seen your YouTube.
Are you subscribers then?
Yes.
You follow us, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, bless your heart.
So that's the, you know, otherwise we'd have been oblivious to this today.
We have to have our regular fixed grey matters, don't we?
Oh, please, should we want an autograph next?
Somebody's got to fly the flag, haven't they?
Yeah, exactly. Right, well, I'm with Helen Field, who's come all the way from Southampton for the march. Helen, delighted to see you here. See, you've got your Nurses Not Nukes sign. Can you tell me why you're here today?
I'm here today because I'm absolutely appalled that we've got a Labour government talking about increasing defence spending to the tune of tens of billions of pounds when there are millions of people in this country who are not just hard up, but they really are in a bad way. The fact that we've got 4 million children living on the breadline, any government should hang its head in shame. Hospitals falling to bits. I'm a big campaigner for the NHS. You can see by my thing that nurses not used. What is the point of having nuclear weapons? If they are ever used, that's the end of the planet. And there's never been an arms race that has not ended in war. So our whole peace and security, not just as a nation, but as a globe, is seriously threatened by this. And I can't just sit at home and do nothing. So I'm out on the streets.
You come a long way to do it, to make your voice heard as well.
So we should start protesting. Everything's important. Every little letter you write to your MP is good. Every person you talk to about how bad things are. Keep all that up. We've got to keep going. We mustn't give up. There's more of us than there is of them.
Thank you so much. Hi, well, I'm now with Patience and Michael. Where do you come from? Herne Bay. Oh, you've come a long way today. Yes. So why are you here today?
I have a very simple reason. I believe in peace. I think we should be working for peace, and the money that's being spent on weapons and armaments and beating the war drums should be spent on welfare. This is the only way to take care of people, take care of the earth.
Were you affected by the removal of the Winterfield payments?
We're not. We're in a very, very fortunate position, which is why we're here, because there are lots and lots of people who aren't as lucky as we are.
Fantastic.
And, that's not right.
Hi, well, I'm now with Candy, who has got a badge there supporting the nurses. Can I ask you why you're here?
Yeah, because I'm recently retired as a nurse.
Thank you.
I can see how the NHS is being deliberately downgraded and privatised, and it's just, people don't know this is going on. So it's quite important that we inform people.
Have you seen a change in nursing before you retired? Have you seen it degrading while you worked for it?
Yeah, they're all leaving. They're being offered better pay, better conditions, better work-life balance.
What do you hope the march might achieve today?
So I'm hoping that people will become aware of the health issues, and we need to save the NHS for the future.
Well, thank you for speaking to us, and thank you for your service. I'm sure it's very much appreciated. Thank you. Well, the march underway now with the marshals in the front there trying to hold everyone back, try and keep it all safe. A lot of groups represented here, a lot of support for the NHS, which is good to see. The National Education Union is there in force. The signs that you see that say stop the cuts, tax the rich, and warfare or welfare before warfare, something like that. Those are all being provided by the organisers, which are it's the People's Assembly. Not too many older people here off their own back, but there are some groups. Croydon Disability Against Cuts is there. Southend, Keep Our NHS Public. There's a lot of banners from around the country saying the same thing. National Education Union again. Stand Up to Racism. Not really applicable for a march about cuts. The Tower Hamlets NHS there, support them, don't let them go public. Lewisham, Labour NHS. A lot of people wanting to tax the rich. I think forgetting quite often it's the rich that have brought prosperity into the country. And although, I don't know, I'm not going to get into politics here. West Sussex NEU over there. People have come from a long way off. I've spoken to people from Kent and Peterborough, Brighton. Yes, they're coming from some distances. Now this banner, which unfortunately is the wrong way around for us to see it properly. And this banner that's coming up, the big blue one, says something like one Earth, one humanity, let's share the world's resources. As long as there's no import duty, I'm sure that'll be fine. Bristol University Unison there. So there is a lot of support from a lot of agencies, but it would have been nice to see more ordinary people out there, people like you and I, supporting the call for cuts to the welfare, which is an appalling situation that we find ourselves in, isn't it? Okay. So that's it from the march itself for now. As I say, back to the studio.
So there you go. Brief highlights from the protest on Saturday the 7th of June. I'm sorry we couldn't have gone live, but hopefully what I've produced for you has given you a flavour of what went on that day. Let us know what you think. Would you have attended if you'd been able to? I know some of you had said you would. And do you think it would actually do any good? A lot of people don't think protests have any effect whatsoever. But then, you know, what do? You can sit at home and do nothing, or you can get out there and do something. And as people I met there said, you've got to get out there and shout about it and talk about it and tell people about it. Because, you know, if you don't, you become the silent majority. And if you're the silent majority, we all know governments will just trample all over you. So there we go. Thanks for joining us. Let us know in the comments what you think. If you're not a subscriber, please do consider subscribing and give us a thumbs up if you like the video. And until the next time, I see you on Grey Matters. It's bye for now.